Hi everyone. So Vlogmas day 3 and another pantomime, but this is one with a little bit of a difference. It's not an early one. I'm not sure when the pantomime or the book was first written, Beauty and the Beast, but could this have been the story? The story that I'm going to tell you, could this have been the story that it was based on? So Petrus and Catherine Gonsalvus were thought of as freaks of nature. And the Beauty and the Beast story, this story, where it was an absolute fairy tale ending, it wasn't like that for them. Here they are. Petrus, to cut a long story short, he was given to King Henry of France as a gift, cruelly treated, kept in a dungeon. I think there's about 50 cases of this disease where they really shoot the people in the world, or there was at that time. So he was given to Henry as a gift, cruelly treated, kept in a dungeon. Eventually, Henry wanted to see whether this savage could be educated. And Petrus, he proved himself to be a very able student. Look how they fed him. They literally treated him as an animal. But he proved himself to be a scholar. He learned 3 languages, and including Latin, and became a sort of semi-nobleman, if you will. But he was still kept as, a real exhibition for the nobles to poke fun at and laugh at. When Henry died, the Queen Regent, Catherine de' Medici, came to the throne, and she was a blood-curdling creature. She killed thousands, invited a lot of religious leaders to Italy on the pretext of, inviting them, making peace with them, and many of them were just slaughtered. So arguably, or not arguably, an extremely wicked queen. So the way he was depicted in paintings, you will see, and the way he was treated was like, like the dwarfs were in these courts and the jesters. Look, this is the way he was depicted, as a wild boar. Dwarfs in the courts. There was a painter who made some, actually. There's Petrus with the fur around him, fur stole, showing his nobility, poking fun. Here is Catherine de' Medici. That's the tomb of Henry. That's de' Medici. Very, in my opinion, wicked woman. Wicked. There's the blood. Yeah, she was a bloodthirsty queen. This, and we'll stop this. This is the young woman to whom Petrus became married. What happened was that Queen Catherine, wanted to see, carry out this experiment whereby she'd marry him off and hopefully they would breed and Catherine would have a zoo full of pets, little creatures, in her opinion, running around with the same problems as Petrus had, which was, it was a disease called hypertrichosis, which means just too much hair on the body. So this is the woman to whom he married, and she was the daughter of a courtier. And of course, in those days, she didn't see his face till the day she got married to him. And in those days, the Queen or the King had the right to say to whom people were going to get married, you know. They had no rights. So young Catherine met Petrus for the very first time on their wedding day, thanks to this woman here. Queen Catherine de Medici. The de Medicis were a very influential family. Here's young Catherine on a wedding day. Doesn't look very wedding-y, does she, dress-wise? But we're only surmising. You would, wouldn't you? You would be horrified, actually. But they became very close, and they were married for 40 years, over 40 years. Yeah, went on to have 7 children, 3 of whom were, you know, didn't have their father's condition, 4 of whom did. I think it was 4. Yeah, 3 didn't have his condition and 4 of them did. Which made the Queen very happy. So the family went a sailing. They were invited to all the courts in Europe because they were considered to be freaks. And so they went to all the courts in Europe, were treated like, they were treated between royalty and being considered freaks. It must have been an extremely odd life for them. And there aren't many paintings. That's obviously a cartoon one, but we can see where the Beauty and the Beast comes from, can't we? So they didn't get their happy ever after. They went to live, the last years of their life, they went to live in a place in Italy called Capodimonte, you know, where the porcelain comes from. My sister had a lot of Capodimonte stuff. And they went to live there. There's just another cartoony thing. So they went to live in Capodimonte, and unfortunately they lived there. Catherine died in 1623, and her death was recorded. There is no record of Petrus's death, and historians believe that's because he wasn't given a mass service or the last rites, simply because he was considered a beast. The Beauty, as you can see. I've been out all day. I'm early actually because it's only 4 o'clock, and I didn't think I'd get back till 6. So I'm about to go and shower and get something to eat. I might come on live later, but I wanted to get that out, that Vlogmas thing out, and I think it's relevant because how sad is it to for him to be treated in that way, for her to be treated in that way. I'm sure he wouldn't have been the groom that she chose. As a young girl, she'd wanted somebody handsome and personable and wealthy and all the rest of it. But she got Petrus, and she got, you know, she got lucky having him because they were happily married for 40 years. They had 7 beautiful children. All of them were beautiful children. There's no such thing as an ugly child. No such thing. And until the world gets hold of them and maybe is able to treat them so ugly they become ugly, I don't know. But the unfortunate thing is, Catherine, as I said, Catherine's death was recorded. She had the last rites. Petrus's death was not recorded, so he wouldn't have been buried in sacred ground. He wouldn't, for example, have been able to be buried with his beloved wife, because even though they were married and they had 7 children together, he was still considered a beast, Beauty and the Beast. But the most tragic thing, I think, of all, is that the 4 children who inherited their father's disease, hypertrichosis, the 4 children who inherited that disease were taken away from their family, from their parents, and given away as gifts to rulers in different countries, to, you know, the aristocracy in different countries, and they never saw their family again. So the Beauty and the Beast in real life never did have a happy ending. But I'm glad it does in the book. I'll be back later, either with a live or with another video when I'm fed and cleaned. And it's been a long day, as I say. I'll be back later.